Hi guys, we were on our way to, this is the Buganda Kingdom.
Yeah.
The Buganda Kingdom, so that we can see the palace, where it's believed that is where the king is supposed to be staying. And guys, let me show you something that is just happening here right now. You can see from a distance that we have artists who are singing.
That is the traditional dance from Magan.
And shaking. There is a guy here.
I think they are shooting
telling us to stop. Maybe there is something that is being shot there from a distance.
Yes. For a few please, we're shooting something.
Okay. Okay, it's okay, bro. It's okay.
Step out, go shoot it. Papa goes back. Goes to park. Okay.
Okay.
Papa, go.
Papa, you can go to park.
Then we have to park.
We have to?
We are going to park maybe like here.
So guys, there is something being shot and I think it's a traditional
we can park it.
dance or something. So Papa, guys, he's Papa Mwakazi.
Original fantastic Santiago.
Yes, and guys, make sure you subscribe to Mwakazi Adventures. We're going through this tour with him, and right now guys, we are about to get inside the Buganda Kingdom, because this, guys, can you imagine, in Uganda there is a president in Uganda. Papa Mwakazi, take these keys. Take these keys inside, yeah. You can imagine, in Uganda we have different kingdoms, and we also have the president of Uganda. And I hear that there is a previous president who will be finding out later that abolished all those kingdoms to be the president alone. But when President Museveni came into power, he reinstated all those kingdoms that we have in place. Those from a distance, you can see them. Those were the dancers. And right now guys, we want to get inside, yeah. So I think, hey bro, which king, this is
Buganda. This is a palace of Kabaka, one of the palaces of Kabaka.
Okay, the dance one of the palace of Kabaka. Yeah. The dance that you guys are performing here, what is the dance?
It's called Chiganda dance.
Chiganda dance.
Yeah, it's we do this dance celebrating our king.
Oh, celebrating the king.
Yeah.
Is Kabaka inside, or he doesn't stay here anymore?
As I've told you, it's one of his palaces.
Oh, he has many palaces.
Yes, so he decides where to sleep. In Buganda, we call it Asima.
Asima.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Asima Busimi. Then he feels like, today I want to sleep this side. Today I want to sleep this side. Yeah.
So let me ask a private questions. How many wives do Kabaka have? Because yesterday we were arguing with some of my friends. I am a Kenyan. I come from Kenya, so I'm here on a safari and to tour all these places. How many wives does King Kabaka have?
He has one.
One?
Yeah.
But I was told he has many.
No. He has one. Because she's the official queen. So
the official queen.
Yes, as I've told you, the Kabaka decides what to do in her land.
In her land.
We call it in Uganda Asima.
Asima.
Yes.
Okay.
To do what he wants, but he has one wife. And she's called the Nabagereka of Uganda. Nabagereka. Yes.
Okay. Maybe is there anything else that I should know about Kabaka, or even before I get my permit to get into the palace?
He's a wonderful king. That's why you guys all get access to his palace.
And it is the largest kingdom.
Yes, it's the largest kingdom in Uganda.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the dance that you guys are performing, is it where are you guys taking the dance? Is it online, or it's
a video shoot?
Okay.
Yeah. So we are doing a video shoot of a song.
Okay.
But still celebrating God.
Okay.
But still with our culture.
Okay. Thank you so much, friend.
Welcome.
Thank you. So guys, I'll be heading straight back to where Papa Mwakazi have parked the car. Guys, I can be able to see the palace from here. I'm telling you, it's so beautiful. But when we get inside, we'll be able to get more pictures of it and more of how it looks. Papa Mwakazi,
yes.
I'm being told that Kabaka the king doesn't have many wives. That he only has one official wife, that is the queen, and that's why she is the queen. Just say it, huh? I'm waiting. I'm waiting to hear.
All wives in Uganda for all women. In case you want, that's why I told you this one is literate. But the king, a typical king of Buganda, even if he moved out now and said, "I want you," you are his wife. Yeah, but this one is literate. So he started from abroad.
You are married, right? So you believe that you are one of the wives of Kabaka?
If Baganda, I'm not Muganda. I'm not from this tribe.
Oh, you are not from.
Yeah.
You are from
Batoro.
Batoro.
Yeah, that's why the Baganda women call Kabaka our husband.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are Batoro.
Yes.
So guys, we are chilling with Batoro, and actually she's from the royal family of the Batoro.
Yes.
So guys, let's get inside and get a glimpse of what we have to see. So guys, before we get inside and be able to see this beautiful palace, there is a little history that has been put here at the entrance, and I'm going to read for you. Lubiri Palace Mengo, established in 1885 by Sekabaka Daniel Mwanga Basamula Ekere. It derives its name from grinding stones called emengo, which were for the grinding millet and herbs, and were so common on that hill. 3 Kabakas stroke kings have lived in this palace. Sekabaka Mwanga, that is 1885 to 1897. We have Daudi Chwa, 1897, Daudi Chwa to 1897 to 1939, and Kabaka Mutesa Edward from 1939 to 1966. In the royal compound, you can also find the torture chambers, which were built by Idi Amin with the help of Israelite architects as an armory for better keeping of gunpowder, but later turned into torture chambers or a dungeon where most Ugandans lost their lives, especially those who opposed his rule. So guys, let's hope we are going to see the torture chamber, yeah, that was built by Idi Amin. So I think we can get inside. So guys, we already passed the gate, and now it's like we are at the reception area. Then we will be heading to where the palace is on that side. And here is the map, and it's written Mapu ya Buganda. I can be able to see Kabaka Ronald, but maybe with the help of my friend here, who was just asking me about the Mogumo tree used by the Kikuyus in Kenya. But guys, that is story for another day. Maybe my brother, you can explain to me about all these. Yeah.
Roma, thank you. Yeah. This is the map of Buganda Kingdom.
Okay.
Buganda Kingdom, that is the most dominant kingdom in Uganda.
By dominant, do you mean that it has the most population?
Exactly. In Uganda.
Okay.
And it lives in the central Uganda.
Okay.
So Uganda got its name from Buganda Kingdom.
Okay.
So we have sub-counties, as you see.
Yeah.
We have Buluri sub-county, we have Blemazigere, there are very many.
All these are sub-counties of
Buganda Kingdom. And this is our king, the reigning king, Ronald Mwenda Mutebi. That is the 36th king of Buganda Kingdom.
36th?
36th.
Is he still alive?
Yes.
So he's Kabaka right now?
Right now. He's the king.
Wow.
Thank you. So Buganda started 800 years back.
Okay.
With King Kintu. King Kintu was the first Muganda. King Kintu, he just disappeared from the forest.
He disappeared.
The king of Buganda, if the time comes and the God called that king, we say that the king have passed away. We do not say that the king has died.
The king has passed away. Okay.
So in the Buganda kingdom, we believe in taboos. And I think in your countries,
we still have taboos.
So in the Buganda kingdom, we have 65 clans.
65
clans.
Clans. Okay.
56 clans.
56 clans.
And those clans, you can see them on that mile. They are outside.
Okay.
They are an elephant clan, a lion clan, very many clans.
They are named after animals.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the king is from the Mank clan.
The
Mank clan.
Monkey.
Yes.
No, the king is from the Monkey clan.
The Mank clan.
Okay.
And those 56 clans, the king is the leader of all clans.
Of all of the clans.
Yes. So for more information, Russia will give you the guy to explain more for you.
To explain more?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, my brother. Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, I'm inside the office, like the reception office here with Papa Mwakazi and our good lady from that side who is helping us. And we have Erin.
Yes.
Erin, you were saying something about the king and the queen.
This is our king.
The king,
The
yeah?
king of Buganda.
King of Buganda.
And this is the queen of Buganda. These
Queen
are
of
the children
Buganda.
down. So,
Okay, they are children.
yes,
Uh-huh.
every time you're going to marry,
Yeah.
you have to carry a portrait of the king and the queen if you are marrying someone from this tribe.
From the Buganda.
Yes.
And you know, I've
To show
been
that
told
you
that
came to
there are
the-
56 clans in the Buganda kingdom.
Yes.
So from any clan you have to carry their pictures.
Yes.
Why?
And you can't marry
Why?
from the same clan.
Why do you have to carry their pictures?
It is a sign of, because they have to grace your functions. It's a sign of like the king is gracing your function.
Yeah, okay. From the other side I can see we have other pictures. Do you mind explaining?
she knows better from that side. Even so, there are some small descriptions.
I can see this is Seka Baka Mutesa from 1856 to 1884. I can see Basamula. That is Daudi Chwa. Why do we have a portrait of Daudi Chwa as a small boy?
He became king when he was, I think, at the age of 1. Then they gave him, what are they called?
The age
People
of
to
1.
help him. Yeah, three people to help him as a king. He was young.
Wow, there is a small history here that says born on 8th of August 1896.
Okay, we're going to introduce you to the guy.
Visited Europe at the age of 17. First king to have church marriage in 1914. Died in 1939. Wow, okay.
Now that is the Mutesa, the one in Ulasa.
Kabaka Mutesa.
Yes.
But not the one in power right now, yeah?
It's not.
Okay.
It's the son who is.
The official palace,
The official palace.
yes, for the king of Buganda, though the king himself does not live here.
Where does the king live?
He has another palace
Okay.
at a place called Chireka. To take that direction, about
Chireka.
15 kilometers away.
50 kilometers.
15.
15 kilometers.
Yes. So here he just comes for celebrations and sometimes meetings. And whenever he comes here, he spends something like 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
Then he goes back to his other palace. Now, as we take the tour, you will realize that there are lots of people that were killed on this hill. And, those were the days when we had dictators in Uganda. So during those days, this place had been turned into a military base.
Okay.
And the soldiers who lived here killed many people on these grounds. So in our tradition, such a place would be considered to be unclean to the king.
Okay.
So it's one of the reasons that's why he doesn't live here. So he just comes for a few hours, then he goes back to his other palace. Now here we have a royal mile,
Okay.
and it's the road that stretches from the palace here up to the administration block, which is the big building at the end of the road. And you can see the building from here. From there you can see.
Which building? Oh, the building at the far end of the road.
Yes. So that is the Buganda administration block.
Okay.
Now, the plan of having a royal mile here was copied from Scotland in the 1950s. Our former king was called Mutesa II, visited there. He saw the Edinburgh Royal Mile, which was so interesting to him.
Okay.
Then when he came back here, he decided to have that administration block constructed there, so that can have the same kind of thing that is in the other side.
So it joins the road.
The roads
Okay.
go straight from here up to
the other
the other
point.
side.
Okay.
And the Royal Mile here has 56 trees on both sides, representing the 56 clans of Buganda Kingdom. And then there are also some sculptures on the side. Some of them are animals, others are birds. We have some insects, some types of plants and fish.
Okay.
So these are the totems for the clans of Buganda. And the totems are like symbols of identification. So if you ask anyone for their clan, they will tell you their totem. So if you ask me, I'll tell you I'm from the elephant clan. So that is my totem, and it is the symbol that identifies me as someone who belongs to that family.
Okay.
And something about these totems is that we do not eat them. So me from the elephant clan, I wouldn't eat elephant meat. Though I'm very lucky there is no one around eating elephant meat, so I'm not missing out on anything. But we have totems that are edible in our daily lives. For example, the mushrooms. So people who have the mushroom as their totem, they cannot eat mushrooms. But for those of us, we can eat on their behalf. Yeah, then on the Royal Mile still we have 2 roundabouts. The first one is this one here with the black and white bricks and some flowers. Then the second one is down in the middle of the Royal Mile with the 2 pillars. And these 2 roundabouts have got a reserved road in the middle, which is supposed to be used only by the king. And that's a kind of respect that's given to him. He goes straight from the palace to the other side without making corners. So in case the king is to go through there, the bricks in the middle are shifted to the sides, then he goes straight. And the second roundabout down there has got some small gates in the middle, and they're also supposed to be opened only for the king. Then for those of us, we have to keep on moving around the usual way. Yeah, then
Please be mindful, you're shooting against light.
this is the Mango Hill, and our kings have always located their palaces on top of hills. First of all, that was a symbol of supremacy. The king was the only person to have a house on top of a hill. For the rest of the people were supposed to have them in the valleys. And then it was a security strategy. So whenever the king was on top of a hill, it was very easy for him to monitor whatever was going on in the valleys. So in case there was someone who planned to attack the king would easily know, and then they would prepare for them in advance. So that's why the kings could always have their palaces on top of hills. Now, the first occupants of this hill, that was before it was turned into a palace, were people from the Hippopotamus clan. And in our traditions, each clan has got a different role that they play for the king. We have a clan which is responsible for the transportation of the king. That is people from the Buffalo clan. So during the days before the kings began having cars, the king could get 2 strong men from the Buffalo clan, and they could carry him, transport him wherever he wanted to go. And then when we started having cars, and then now the people who from the Buffalo clan are supposed to drive the king. Now, the first occupants of this place were the king's herbalists. They used to make those herbal medicines for the king. And on these grounds they had grinding stones, and they could use them to grind the herbs. So in the Luganda language, the grinding stones are the ones that we call mango. So it was from the grinding stones that the hill gained the name. That's why it's called Mango Hill. Then when the king came here, it became the Mango Palace. Yeah, then the first king to live here was called Mwanga. He established this palace in 1885. He lived here up to 1897, and that was when he was arrested by the British after he tried to fight against them. Then in 1893 he had signed an agreement with them accepting Buganda Kingdom to become a British protectorate, but I didn't realize that at some point they'll have to reduce his powers. When they did so, he was disappointed and angry with them. He then started fighting against them, but he didn't have enough weapons, so he lost that battle. He was arrested and taken to the Seychelles Islands in the Indian Ocean, where he later died in 1903. Then he was succeeded by his son, who was called Daudi Chwa. And Daudi Chwa was the second king of Buganda to live here, for he lived here up to 1939. That was when he passed away. And he was succeeded by his son, Mutesa II. So Mutesa II was the last king of Buganda to occupy this place. He lived here up to 1966. And that was when the palace was attacked by the soldiers of Obote. So Apollo Milton Obote was one of the former presidents of Uganda. He became president in 1966, but before him we had Mutesa II. That's the king of Buganda, who was made the first ceremonial president for the whole of Uganda after independence. And then during those days, Obote was the prime minister, and he was the one with the executive powers. So at some point the two people fell apart because Obote as prime minister had already begun acting as a dictator, and at the same time he was very corrupt. So because of all that, the king as president could criticize Obote, they had lots of disagreements, and then Obote decided to get rid of the king to exile in England. But again, he was poisoned and died there in 1969. And our people believe that it was plotted by Obote. Then when Obote took over the presidency, he passed a constitution that abolished the kingdoms in Uganda and then turned this whole place into a military base. The soldiers occupied this hill from 1966 up to 1997. And that was when the current president gave the hill back to the kingdom. Then the soldiers were taken away to other places. Now for the current king, whose name is Ronald Mutebi II, after the death of his father in 1969, he could not be crowned because the kingdoms had already been abolished. So he stayed in England, where he was already doing his studies, until when the political situation stabilized in Uganda. Then he came back in 1987 and he was crowned in 1993. So he's a ceremonial king. He doesn't have the political power, and the constitution of Uganda does not allow him, together with the other cultural leaders in Uganda, they are not supposed to engage themselves in political issues. So not even saying out their opinion on political issues. So they just stay neutral. We have this house here. In our traditions, we do not call this the palace, but the moment you enter through the gate, you're already inside the king's palace. So this is just the main building within the palace grounds. Now this was constructed here from 1922 to 1933, and those were the days of King Daudi Chwa, the second king of Buganda to live here. So Daudi Chwa was the first king of Buganda to visit Europe, and while he was there, he also admired the buildings, because during those days we never had such structures. He then decided to have almost the same kind of structure as those that had seen. Then this was constructed here with the help of the British as a donation to the Buganda kingdom. It was then partly destroyed when the palace was attacked in 1966, and then later renovated after the soldiers were taken away in 1997, and that's why it looks a bit new. It's also repainted almost after 5 years. And as per now, the king only has an office inside this house. So whenever he comes here for meetings, there's a certain part of the building which he uses as a place that he can host meetings. And then for the rest of the building is completely empty. Like the bedrooms up there don't have anything, since the king never sleeps here.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's always kept closed, can only be opened for cleaning and also when the king comes around. So that means that the people who enter there are those that are supposed to clean inside, those who come to meet the king, plus a few of our administrators.
Can we be around to walk around the...
Unfortunately, we can't go around. The security department does not allow that.
So we can only get up to this point.
We can get closer, but not going round.
Let's get closer. So guys, this is the palace.
Nope.
Yeah, we don't. But when we get there, if you're making videos, you don't include me. Because Idi Amin still has his children in Uganda, and they don't like people who say
The father was bad.
stories about their father.
Okay.
Okay, so here we have the remains of the former king's cars. And that was Mutesa II. He had a number of luxurious cars. And among these, he had Daimlers, Cadillacs, Rolls Royces, he had Chevrolets and other types. So some of these cars were destroyed when this palace was attacked in 1966. And this big one here, this was a Daimler Limo model 1962. It was one of those that survived because by the time the palace was attacked, it was not on the grounds. So it was just destroyed by time and weather after it was abandoned because the owner had been ousted. Then under the Daimler, there's a second car. You can see that frame. That was the Cadillac, which is an American car. So the Cadillac was completely destroyed. Then this was the Rolls Royce with the spokes and the logo. Now we can stop down to see the torture chambers. With their family.
Guys, these were the military people who are living just next to the palace. These are the people who protected the king, them and their wives. They protected the king, so these are their grounds. Yeah. Guys, we are now headed to the torture chamber that was being used by a former president, Idi Amin. So guys, we are now approaching the torture chamber. It is actually written "Welcome to Idi Amin's armory" that was constructed by the Israelis in the early 1970s, but later turned into a torture chamber where thousands of Ugandans lost their lives. So guys, let's get inside. From the entrance, guys, is a long pathway, but we are going to walk.
I was about to start. Okay, now this here was one of Idi Amin's torture chambers, but at first it was an armory which was constructed from 1971 to 72. The construction was done by the Israelis, because they used to do a lot of construction with the Uganda government, and they worked with the Uganda government until 1972. When Idi Amin got disagreements with them, then he forced them out of Uganda. Now, this, Idi Amin used it as an armory for only 8 months. And after those months, he got information that Obote, the one he had overthrown, was in Tanzania trying to get some military assistance to fight back. So he took away all the weapons which were being kept here so that he can prepare for war against Obote. Then during the preparations, he began arresting all those people who were suspected to be supporters of Obote, and still for whoever seemed to be a political threat. Then lots of this could be brought into this place and was turned into the torture chamber. Now this had a strong metallic gate at the entrance, and it could be electrified. Then inside here, when you look at the walls down there, is that dark green stripe surrounding this whole place. So whenever it rained, this place could be flooded by water at that level. Then during the dry seasons, the soldiers would use some trucks to carry water from the King's Lake to this place, and this water could also be electrified. Then whenever the soldiers brought prisoners here, they could first switch off the power from outside, then force them to walk through the water, and they could first torture them using this electricity. So they could keep switching on and off for about 30 to 40 minutes. And they could do that trying to extract information from these prisoners. Then after that kind of torture, they could finally switch off and force them to climb into the 5 rooms which worked as the prison cells. So this had sliding doors on the outside, though all these doors were broken away by the last group of soldiers on this hill. Then inside the rooms, the soldiers could pack so many prisoners. They could have between 80 to 120 prisoners in just one room. And because of the limited space, and you can also see that this thing is underground, there are no ventilators or windows, so the aeration was also very limited. So many could die of suffocation because they could run out of oxygen, and others could die of starvation after some few days because here they could not feed them with anything. Then the bodies from here could be counted on the trucks and dropped on the roadsides. A few of them into the King's Lane, which is down in the valley, and many others into the neighboring swamps. And they could be eaten up by different animals and birds. Then Idi Amin used this as a torture chamber for 6 years. That was from 1973 to 79. And he killed an estimated number of 7,500 people in just this place.
7,000?
Yes.
7,500?
Yes.
Just this place?
Just here.
That's the reason why now the king cannot sleep in this.
Yeah, can't sleep on these grounds.
Because of the bloodshed?
Yes.
Okay. Well, 7,500 is a lot of people. A lot of people. So guys, this is the entrance where there was a metallic gate. So the place used to flood up to this level?
No, just here.
Oh, just here. Okay.
Because
In that history.
now, you wouldn't blame us for that. Because our tour, when it comes to Idi Amin, in fact, our tour should not even include Idi Amin. But it's just because of the torture chamber that we include it.
But why? And its history.
So if at all we were to talk about the presidents of Uganda, then probably that's where it would come in. That's where we talk about Idi Amin. But if someone asks me about Idi Amin, of course I can tell everything about him.
But regarding this place
Now I can't come here
and say
and
anything
instead
good.
of showing what this thing was used to, and then I just see now Idi Amin was giving free sugar to people.
Yeah, you cannot lie.
It doesn't match.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
But if someone asks me about Idi Amin, then I can give them the information.
I have a question. Sensitive. Like those past regimes affected the kingdom.
But do you even know that Buganda kingdom loves Idi Amin?
Really?
Not even Obote. You
I've
know.
never had any good history about Idi Amin from a Muganda.
You've not talked to people. You've not talked to people.
And why do they
Let
love
me
Idi
tell you
Amin?
something. When if at all you go and ask people about Idi Amin and Buganda kingdom, they'll tell you a lot of good things. Now, whenever people talk about the escape of Mutesa from the palace, it was Idi Amin who attacked under the orders of Obote. But it was still Idi Amin who helped Mutesa to escape.
Oh, so he was executing his boss's command,
Yes.
but also protecting the king.
Yes, because Idi Amin always took Mutesa as a brother. Idi Amin might have been born in the palace here because his mother was working here.
Really?
Yes. His mother was
Midwife.
Yeah, she was a midwife. And she was the one that delivered Mutesa when Mutesa's mother was pregnant.
Wow.
Yes.
That I didn't know.
That lady was working here.
She was Muganda.
No, she was Kakwa, just like
Oh.
Idi Amin.
Okay.
Yeah, but she worked on these grounds in the days of Daudicho.
Wow.
So Mutesa and Idi Amin, they almost grew up together.
And that's why he helped him escape.
Yes, just because he was a soldier and he was supposed to follow
the commands.
Yes.
Okay.
He also attacked, but still he left space for his friend to escape.
Okay.
And still, we have never blamed Idi Amin for anything. Everything is blamed on Obote. It was Obote who ordered for the
Idi Amin.
For the attack, and still the death of Mutesa in England is still blamed on Obote, not Idi Amin.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, I have more information now.
And it was Idi Amin who returned the body of Mutesa for the burial in 1971.
And nobody could return the body of Idi Amin.
Nobody, because Obote had refused. Yes.
Which year did Amin die?
2003.
Idi Amin died 2003.
But Obote was not ruling that time. It was Museveni.
Yes. Now, Idi Amin was overthrown in 1979 and ran into exile.
Yes.
So he lived in Saudi Arabia
for all those years.
Yeah, for all those years, he was protected and well taken care of. Then
protected or in torture?
No, he was protected.
He was in exile.
Yeah, he was
when
in exile, but
you are protected
he lived.
By the country.
He was not like
he
was not a prisoner.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in Saudi Arabia. He was taken as a brother. Yes, so he died of multi-organ failure.
So, who refused the return of the body of Amin?
It was Obote. You mean the return of the
body
of Amin?
The
it was
body.
Museveni. First of all, before Idi Amin died, his family knew that he was about to die. They requested the government of Uganda to accept the return of Idi Amin so that he can die here. He refused. Museveni refused.
What would happen if those guys had just come?
Nothing.
He would die anyway and be buried.
Yeah, he would just die. But
he was old by that
Museveni
time.
had his own reasons, so he said no.
Okay.
But his family tried to plead.
I have a sensitive question. If you don't want to answer on camera, it's okay. With that history that we get from there, the turmoil, then Obote, Amin, then Museveni comes back, reinstalls the king. Okay, different regimes have affected the kingdom in several ways. How has this regime affected the kingdom?
Now this regime, I wouldn't say it has done much, though the regime accepted the restoration of the kingdom. But even the restoration is not like we begged them to restore. This is an agreement that they were fulfilling.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know that when Museveni was fighting against Obote, it really the support of propaganda. So they had to give him conditions.
Yes.
Even the current king, who was just a prince in England, also had to come down here to talk to some people so that they can mobilize for Museveni. And then they had to agree that, if you people help me overthrow Obote, then I'll have to restore the kingdom and also give all the property back.
Okay.
So we did not beg, but it was something that they agreed upon.
So has all the property been given back?
No.
Not yet?
Not yet. There's still a lot of property that is still being used by the Uganda government.
That belongs to Buganda Kingdom?
Yes.
For example?
There are buildings used by some districts, like in the villages there.
Out in the outskirts.
And then some, division councils.
Okay.
Some of those old buildings, they belonged to the Buganda government because during those days when we lived under a system which was close to a federal system of governance, we had those structures.
Okay.
Yes, we had our own structures, the Magombolola. So those buildings, they are now occupied by the Uganda government. So they are supposed to give them back so that we can use
So most of the property that the Gombolola properties, they belong to Buganda?
Yes.
I thought they were government properties.
There are some which are now government property. Like there is this Gombolola here. along Kawakanjagala Road.
Okay.
And then there is one in Makinde. Those ones were put up by the Uganda government.
Okay.
But when you go out of Kampala, those areas there, most of the buildings that the Uganda government uses, they belong to.
Okay. Have the tombs been finished? Can we tour them?
Almost. Yeah, almost.
We can't go there yet.
You can go, but he won't assure you that you'll get the authentic
Information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if it's just taking photos and videos, then it would be okay.
Okay. Thank you.